guys, Born back. I'm going to do my video on Mugwort now. Um, so, like I said before, I'm doing a series on herbal properties. These are not medical claims. None of this is just information and my opinions. So what we're doing today is mugwort. Like I said, I don't have it in the powder form. I actually have it in the cut and sifted form. This is what it looks like. So I can't really smell this one through the package. Okay, so those of you that don't know what mugwort is, we'll go over some stuff with it. First, we will start with just a little background on it, which is, now the information that I'm getting is from the internet, my book here, which again is Magic and Medicine of Plants, Reader's Digest version. And Wikipedia, as well as Wikipedia. Mugwort is a common name for several species of aromatic plants in the genus Artemisia. In Europe, mugwort most often refers to the species Artemisia vulgaris, or common mugwort, as it's. While other species are sometimes referred to by more specific common names, they may be called simply mugwort in many contexts. For example, one species, Artemisia argi, is often called mugwort in context of traditional Chinese medicine, but may also be referred to a more specific name, Chinese mugwort. Mugworts are used medicinally, especially in Chinese, Japanese, and Korean traditional medicines. Some mugworts have also found a use in modern medicine for their anti-herpes effect. Herpetic effect. They are also used as an herb to flavor food. In Korea, mugworts were also used for pain, non-medicinal consumption. In South Korea, mugworts called suk, S-S-U-K, suk, are still used as staple ingredient in many dishes, including rice cakes and soup. So, mugwort is a more common found herb and a lot of Asian, it looks like. Okay, so the etymology of it is the Anglo-Saxon, Nine Herbs Charm mentions it's mugwort, it's M-U-C-G-W-Y-R-T. A folk etymology based on coincidental sounds derives mugwort from the word mug. More certainly, it's been used in flavoring drinks at least since the early Iron Age. Other sources may say mugwort is derived from the Old Norse muggi, meaning marsh, and Germanic, which is werts, meaning root, so marsh root. Which refers to its use since ancient times to repel insects, especially moths. Which, if you watch my other video, the wormwood has some similar effects in repelling insects. So the Old English words for mugwort was muckwort, which is where MUCG could be a variation of Old English words for midge, which is MYCG. Wort comes from the Old English wort, W-Y-R-T. Root, herb, plant. Sorry, I'm uploading my other video that I just made, and it's telling me that it's ready to be uploaded to YouTube, so that's coming, so watch for it. Okay, so back to Mugwort. Anyway, so that's enough on that. I mean, you can know it's been around forever. There's actually a lot of different species of mugwort. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different species. The common mugwort, which is Artemisia vulgaris, that's the common mugwort, and that's used in culinary herb and medicinally throughout the world. This one is actually that, Artemisia vulgaris. I wanted to do botany for a while, so I tried to start learning, and then I figured out I'd learn Latin, and that just wasn't going to work. And now that I'm doing magic workings and all of that, I find myself actually using Latin a lot, so yeah. Okay, so uses for mugwort. Mugwort oil contains thujone, which we talked about that yesterday as well. Thujone is a hallucinogenic, which is toxic in large amounts or under prolonged intake. So this is not something that you want to consume large amounts of or for very long. Thujone is also present in Western red cedar, from which the name is derived. Mugwort herb contains a very small percentage of oil, so it is generally considered safe to use. Pregnant women, though, should avoid consuming large amounts of mugwort. The species has a number of recorded historic uses in foods. I'm going to pause you for just a second so I can readjust myself here because my leg is starting to hurt. So hang on just a second. Okay, I'm back. So this is another herb that I would definitely say that you want to take precautionary measures if you're pregnant, want to be pregnant, or going to be breastfeeding. The species has a number of recorded historic uses in food, so in food, herbal medicine, and as a smoking herb. The downy hairs on the underside of the leaves can be scraped off and used as effective tinder. All parts of the plant contain essential oils with all-purpose insecticidal properties, especially in the killing of insect larvae. This best used in a weak infusion, but used on garden plants is not recommended as it does reduce plant growth. So like we talked about, like I said, this has got a lot of similar qualities that the wormwood has. It repels insects and such. It also inhibits the growth of other plants that are within a certain range of it. So if you're going to grow it, be very cautious of that. You might get something to grow near it, but it's probably going to be smaller than normal. I'm going to turn my fan back on because it's getting warm in here. I'm in Oklahoma and it's muggy, so I hope this doesn't cause too much problem on the audio. Okay, so back to this. Let's see. Food. The leaves and the buds are best picked shortly before mugwort flowers in July to September. Were used as a bitter flavoring agent for season fat, meat, and fish. Mugwort has also been used to flavor beer before introduction of or instead of hops. So it's something that's been used for quite a while. Medicinal uses of mugwort. Let's see. I actually will put in what mugwort looks like. I'll put in a couple pictures, probably right here. Um, so the mugwort plant contains essential oils such as cineol. Hang on, let me click on it. Maybe it'll tell me how to say it. I'm horrible at pronouncing names as well as chemicals. And it takes me to eucalyptal. So let's see, or wormwood oil and thujone. Flavonoids, triterpenes. Okay, we're just going to stop trying to pronounce some of these fucking words. So it's sometimes confused with wormwood, which is Artemisia absinthium. Look at that, I said it. The plant called Nagadamni in Sanskrit is used for cardiac complaints as well as feeling of unease, unwellness, or general malaise. A traditional Japanese, Korean, and Chinese medicine, Chinese mugwort is used for moxibustion. For a wide variety of health issues, the herb can be placed directly on the skin, attached to acupuncture needles, or rolled into sticks and waved gently over the areas to be treated. In all instances, the herb is ignited and releases heat. Not only is the herb, which is believed to have healing properties in this manner, but it also the heat released from the herb in the precise area that heals. There's a significant technique involved when the herb is rolled into tiny pieces, and the size of the tiny pieces the size of rice grain, and lit with an incense stick directly on the skin. Once again, this is all just information. Do with it what you will, but I'm not responsible for the outcome. Especially when it's talking about burning stuff on your skin. The little herbal fire is extinguished just before the lit herb actually touches the skin. In traditional Chinese medicine, there is a belief that moxibustion of mugwort is effective in increasing the cephalic positioning of fetuses who were in a breech position before the intervention. A review in 2012 found that moxibustion may be beneficial in reducing the need for ECV, but stressed a need for well-designed, randomized, controlled trials to evaluate this usage. So that's the Chinese side of it. Japanese, whatever. Sorry, I'm stretching because my muscles hurt from yesterday therapy. Okay, so medieval Europe. In the European Middle Ages, mugwort was used as a medical protective herb. Mugwort was used to repel insects, especially moths, from gardens. Mugwort has also been used from ancient times as a remedy against fatigue and to protect travelers against evil spirits and wild animals. Roman soldiers put soldiers. If I could fucking talk today, I can't. Let me turn this light on, and my lights are dying, so my light in here is starting to suck. Anyway, Roman soldiers put mugwort in their sandals to protect their feet against fatigue. Mugwort is one of 9 herbs invoked in the pagan Anglo-Saxon 9 herbs charm, recorded in the 10th century in, someplace. China, there are several references to the Chinese using mugwort in cuisine. I'm not going to go into that because we just talked about it. In Germany, known as Beefub, I don't know how to speak German, so that's not pronounced correctly. It is mainly used to season goose, especially the roast goose traditionally eaten for Christmas. Japan, mugwort or yomagi is used in a number of Japanese dishes, including a dessert, also known yomagi mochi. Mugwort rice cakes or kusa mochi are used for Japanese sweets called, I'm going to stop trying to even, let's just get to the, let's see, enough of that. Korean. Okay, so allergen. Mugwort pollen is one of the main sources of hay fever and allergic asthma in Europe, North America, and parts of Asia. Mugwort pollen generally travels less than 2,000 meters. The highest concentration of mugwort pollen is generally found between 9 and 11 a.m. The Finnish Allergy Association recommends tearing as method of eradicating mugwort. Tearing mugwort is known as to lessen the effects of allergies since the pollen flies only short distance. Tearing. I'm guessing it's just tearing. Cooking is known to decrease the allergic reactions to mugwort. Let's just put this in fucking layman's terms. Okay, so then that gives a bunch of references. So that's a little bit of the herbal background on it. So now we'll go into Wikipedia. In fact, let me see if there's anything other than what I just read to you in my book. Mugwort habitat is usually roadsides, vacant lots, and riverbanks. So if you're looking for it in the wild, that's where you'd want to look for it at. Okay, so according to herbalist tradition, mugwort leaves increase menstrual flow and facilitate childbirth. So this is one of the reasons that I'm saying if you are pregnant, don't take it, don't use it, be very protective of yourself with it. Wear gloves, wear a mask if you're using powdered form or crushing it up, whatnot. So just use your best judgment and take precaution. If you are wanting to go into labor because you're hitting 9 months and it's not working, by this it says that it's used to actually induce childbirth. Studies of the former use have shown it to be of questionable value, so keep that in mind. The leaves have also been used to stimulate in folk medicine, as a stimulant in folk medicine. Also a practice of doubtful value. So, of course, they're going to say this kind of stuff, because the FDA doesn't go through and say, yes, these magical herbs or these herbs in general will do this, this, and this. They want you to buy this synthetic bullshit that's going to probably show up on one of those lawsuit commercials. And yeah. So, alright. So, Wikipedia. Let's look at this real quick. And we're doing very well on this timing. My last video, I had to cut down a little bit. I'm going to make this bigger because my ass is blind today with no... I'm sorry I'm yawning. That happens whenever my contacts get dry. Okay, so let's see, we talked about that. Other names for mugwort are cronewort, common wormwood, wild wormwood, felon herb, St. John's plant, chrysanthemum weed, sailor's tobacco, moxa, Artemis herb, naughty man, old man, old Uncle Henry, and muggins. Let's see, we talked about how it's occasionally confused with wormwood. Tell the difference by examining the leaves. Mugwort leaves are green above and white below, and have pointed tips and purplish stems. Wormwood leaves are silvery top and bottom, and the flowers are more showy. So that's how you can tell the difference. There is a distinct difference in mugwort and wormwood. Jesus. Okay, so mugwort can grow from 3 to 6 feet tall on an erect purple tinged stem. The leaves are feathery, grayish green with silvery fuzz on the bottom. Deeply pinnately lobed. This herb is rather bushy, has a rather bushy habit. Mugwort blooms from July to September, so it should be in bloom right now, going out of bloom. It is native to Europe and Asia, but is naturalized through much of the world, and mugwort enjoys weedy areas and waste places where the soil has been disturbed and there is plenty of sunlight. So loose soil, sunlight, those types of areas, which that's kind of like what it was saying, riverbanks and empty lots and things like that, because usually empty lots there's been houses torn down or whatnot. So talking about mugwort in the garden, mugwort is a very hardy, though it's actually very hardy, though it prefers soil that's high in nitrogen. So you don't want to probably grow your mugwort right next to your wormwood, because they both require high amounts of nitrogen and they can cause each other to die out probably. It spreads by underground root system, so just make sure that you understand that that's how it's going to go. So putting it into a pot, a large planter, would probably be best if you want it not to go all over the place. It is drought tolerant, but do not overwater the mugwort. So basically you want to keep it moist but not wet, because wet, especially with it, if it has an underground root system that it grows through, you don't want to cause root rot. Let's see. It is drought tolerant but does not like its feet wet. Otherwise, this plant is nearly impossible to kill. Maybe we should send that to Ember, since she said she has a black thumb, and see what she can do with it. No, I'm sending her the thing that she was talking about that I bought her and I. Is black mandrake. No, not black mandrake. White mandrake, mayapple, or mandragora. I'm going to send her 10 and I'm going to keep 10. So we're going to see if she can grow it. Okay, so maybe I should send her Mugwort instead, since it's nearly impossible to kill. I think Mandragora is going to be probably pretty hard to kill too, as long as it's not overly wet and overly dry or too much sun. That's the thing that hurts it. Alright, so harvesting and preserving mugwort. Harvesting mugwort, you want to do it shortly before it flowers and hang the leaves, hang the leafy steps upside down in a dry place away from sunlight to dry. This is the case with most herbs. Most herbs that have, especially any that have oils in them, which most do, the sunlight can actually degrade that oil. You want to collect the root in autumn. If you're going to use the root, wash and dry mugwort root thoroughly and lay on a screen to dry. Do not let the roots touch one another or they may mold. It's just basically you keep moisture in between the two and it'll cause the mold. Now, mugwort around your house. You can use dried mugwort. Dried mugwort added to a fire will help keep it smoldering for a long time. The stalks make good kindling, so if you want to use it for that. Mugwort's long stems and nifty leaves make great wreaths and garland. A infusion of mugwort or mugwort oil is a good all-purpose cleaner and insect repellent. So that's mugwort around the house. Using mugwort in your kitchen, it is slightly bitter tasting, so you don't want to really use it unless you're using it to season like fish or meat, something that's going to have an overpowering taste to it, that will, or especially game meat, like venison and duck and goose and any of those meats that are going to be very gamey. This will help with that as well. It is traditionally seasoned. It is a traditional seasoning for Christmas goose in Germany. It is also used to flavor rice cakes in Asia. Now, before hops, mugwort was actually used to flavor beer. For this purpose, the plant should be gathered while in flower and dried before use. That's if you're going to use that. Now, healing properties of it. These would be good made into a tincture, put them into oils, or infuse them into oils, things like that. And that's probably, I'm going to use some of this to actually put into some oils and things. Mugwort is a topical anesthetic with antibacterial and antifungal properties. Fresh, crushed mugwort leaves applied to the skin relieves burning, itching, and pain, and with continued application can help rid of warts. It is also said that coating your skin with mugwort juice before exposure to poison oak will prevent a rash. Now, I don't know. I don't know that I'm going to purposely put it on and go run through some poison oak, but if I decide I want to do that, it will prevent a rash. Another plant that's good for that is jewelweed, and I will talk about that at another point in time. It is said that chewing fresh mugwort leaves will relieve fatigue and clear the mind. This would be a good possibility to use for, let's say for instance, if you're going to do anything with divination, if you're wanting to meditate, astral projection, those type of things that you need to have a relaxed and clear mind to do. A decoction of the roots was used also for this purpose, so you can use that for that as well. An infusion of fresh leaves can be used for chronic stomach complaints and to stimulate the appetite. So anybody that's lost their appetite or whatever, due to, say for instance, cancer patients that lose their appetite due to the medications or the chemotherapy or the radiation or whatnot. You can use this to stimulate the appetite. There are other ways, but this is a possibility. Like I said, no medical claims, just information. Just making it clear. Sorry, guys. I don't want anybody coming back saying, well, he said, but he also said that it's not no medical claims on here. Sorry, there was my southern accent. Let's see. Mugwort has been used in Europe to induce abortions. It helps strengthen contractions, and it is used in compress to promote labor and help expel the afterbirth. It's also used to help to regulate the menstrual cycle and ease painful menstruation and the onset of menopause. Used in combination with ginger in a tea to soothe difficult menstruation. To soothe difficult menstrual cycles. We'll just say it that way. On the other hand, mugwort has also been used in China to prevent miscarriage and ease excessive menstrual bleeding. So looks like there's a conflict of information. It is used in traditional Chinese and Japanese medicine to make moxas, which is to cure rheumatism and correct fetal position prior to delivery. The fluff is carefully removed and rolled into a cylinder, which is heated and placed near pressure points to relieve pain. This method is called moxibustion. Mugwort has been used for centuries for disorders and epilepsy, as it is a mild sedative and antispasmodic properties. So where the wormwood causes epilepsy or can cause seizures in people that are epileptic, this actually has an antispasmodic property. An infusion of dried leaves and herbs helps expel pinworms. That doesn't sound pleasant. A mix of dry herb and honey to apply to bruises to fade them. Infusion: 1 ounce of dried herb to 1 pint of boiling water, 5 to 10 minutes. Do not make steep for too long, or it will become intolerably bitter. You can make tinctures. Like I said, cover 4 ounces of fresh herb with 1 pint of 100 proof alcohol, vodka, gin, or brandy. Cover and keep in a dark place, shaking several times per day for 2 weeks. Do not continue to take any of this herb for more than 1 week. Break for several weeks before taking mugwort again, as regular use of mugwort can cause nervous issues. Okay, so now we're going to get into mugwort and magical properties. Gosh, now we're going on 25 minutes. I said this is going to be a faster video, but looks like it's not. Let's see. All varieties of Artemisia are sacred to the goddess Artemis, who gives comfort or death to women in labor. Also Diana through association, and Hecate, patron of herbalists and midwives. Mugwort is also associated with the moon, which is in turn is associated with the cycles of womanhood. Mugwort is feminine in nature, associated with the element of earth, and either Venus or the moon, depends on who you ask, and ruled by either Taurus or Libra. Mugwort can be used as a sacred smoking or smudging herb for protection or divination. Like I said, it's good for divination. It's also a protective herb. It is safe to smoke, as safe as smoking anything is, by itself. Mixed with tobacco or other smokables in a ritual context, it is said to enhance astral projection, lucid dreaming, and other altered states of consciousness. Some say that simply keeping mugwort under your pillow in your bedroom will encourage prophetic dreams. Try making a dream pillow stuffed with mugwort if you keep it in your bedroom. Remember that it is closely related to ragweed and the flowers may trigger some allergies. So others say you must burn it or smoke it in order to utilize its conscious altering effects. Burn mugwort in an incense burner as you use divination tools to open your mind to any messages coming in, or consider using it as a smudge stick. I actually have a smudge stick that has it in it, and I got some loose herbs so I can use it in my charcoal, all my charcoal biscuits. So yeah. If you are not pregnant, a cup of mugwort tea before bedtime will also encourage lucid dreams. I recommend Mountain Rose Herb Dream Tea, which contains mugwort as well as several other supportive herbs. I use it myself. That's not me. That's somebody that's on Wikipedia. Mugwort is also used in protective sachets, especially those created in relation to travel. It is said to prevent delays and other annoyances associated with traveling, as well as to protect the traveler from accidents, thieves, and other dangers associated with traveling. So, Miss Ember, before you go traveling anywhere that you were talking about, you better make you a damn sachet. Anyway. Let's see. Mugwort stems are also make very nice wands, though they aren't very sturdy. And something just happened to my fish tank. I don't know what it was. Whatever. Probably a fish jumping out. Anyway. Use herbal water made of mugwort to cleanse ritual tools, especially those used for divination. So crystal balls, I would not use them on cards. I would use the smoke. Scrying bowls. Anything that's non-porous and is not going to soak it up would be suggested. Hanging mugwort over or on a door will keep unwelcome energies from passing through. So there's different things that I use that for as well. A garland or girdle of mugwort can be worn while dancing around the midsummer balefire and thrown into the fire at the end of the night to ensure protection throughout the year. Let's see, some mugwort in history and folklore. I hope we're almost done because, okay, yeah, we're almost done. The name mugwort is said to have come from the plant's traditional use of flavoring beverages. We've already talked about that. Another suggests that the name came from the word meaning moth, which is alluding to the plant's usefulness for keeping away pests. Wort in the old term for plant, especially one of useful nature. Let's see, poultry, raising animals enjoy this plant. And in Wales, mugwort was tied to the left thigh of a woman having difficult labor, but it was believed that the mugwort was not immediately removed after the birth. She might hemorrhage. So additional notes and warnings. Mugwort is considered a noxious weed in some of the United States. Check with your state's law before planting, as some carry heavy fines for planting certain plants. This is one of the reasons I say to plant in planters and not in the ground, if you can. That way you're not like fined for stuff like that. And if you have a greenhouse, even better. Mugwort should never be used internally during pregnancy or lactation or by anyone who has pelvic inflammatory issues, as it can cause uterine contractions and can be passed through the mother's milk. Mugwort should not be used for more than 1 week continuously. Continued habitual use of mugwort can cause nervous problems, liver damage, and convulsions. Mugwort flower pollen can trigger hay fever attacks in sensitive people, Some people have topical allergies to mugwort. Test some on your skin before using it. So that is information on mugwort. If you have any questions or comments about mugwort or want to know more about mugwort, leave it in the down below comments area. Otherwise, we will move on to our next herb, which I believe will probably going to do elderberry. There's a lot. This is probably going to be a long video for elderberry. So, like I said, these videos probably are going to be semi-long. There's actually more information on here as far as magic and using it for other things other than what was on WebMD. So yeah, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and like the video if you want to continue seeing more, and share the video, and we will try to get our subscribers up so we can get this little, look at my nails, wow, I didn't even realize they were getting that long. So we can do our little giveaway, and I may even have a little, go through and give you, that's a good idea actually. On my giveaway I'll probably go through and especially for newbies that are coming into the craft, or even anybody that doesn't, but sending out little samples of herbs and things like that would be a good little giveaway with a book or something for our 500 subscribers. Once we hit 1,000, we'll go a little bit more extravagant, and then the farther we go up, the more extravagant they will get. So anyways guys, thank you so much for watching the video if you've gotten to this point, and if you have a certain herb that you want to see or want to know more about, or want to see me talk about, please leave it in the comments below. That way I can know what people want to know or want to see or hear about. So otherwise, I will see you on the next video, and blessed be.